is Lisa and I hope this video finds you well. Today we're going to have a look at the creativity section of Seamus Heaney Listen Now Again, represented by the element of fire. And we are following on from Catherine's video last week, having a look at the element of earth and the excavation section. The first display we're going to have a look at is actually a display of Christmas cards. And over the course of 30 years, Seamus Heaney produced his own cards. And they would have poems in them that hadn't yet been published and were always sent with heartfelt handwritten messages. On some occasions, his daughter Catherine Ann created the illustrations for them, as in the case of the Settle Bed from 1989, which you can see on screen now. Our first case in this section shows the connections that he forged throughout his career. There are two letters that he sent to the playwright Brian Friel, one from the 1960s and one from the 1980s, and there were also notes of encouragement that he sent to the poets Maeve McGuckian and Paul Muldoon. One item that might seem a little bit unusual in this case is an oil lamp, but it actually has very strong literary connections, as it first belonged to the poet W.B. Yeats, and when it came up for auction, Seamus Heaney purchased it. It not only shows Heaney's respect for Yeats's work, but it also forms a nice connection with another National Library of Ireland exhibition, Yeats, The Life and Works of William Butler Yeats. Of course, inspiration could strike when least expected. In the Stepping Stones collection of interviews, Seamus Heaney recalls how the idea for the poem Trout came to him when he was at a party in Mary's flat. There was music playing and everyone chatting all around him. He had to grab the nearest piece of paper that he could find, which happened to be a C&A carrier bag, and he quickly jotted down drafts of the poem Trout. Moving to our next case, this has a selection of notebooks on display, and they show the different ways he used the notebooks, sometimes to record diary entries, work through ideas for poems and titles, and sometimes just to make a note of everyday tasks. One diary entry from November 1980 really gives an insight into the life of a poet. He is on tour in the US at this stage, and he talks about the exhaustion that he's feeling. Another item of interest in this case is this version of Postscript. He sent Postscript off to the Irish Times, and as you can see, when it was published, he decided there were edits that still needed to be made to it. And although there are no huge structural changes, he just considers swapping out words here and there, particularly the last line where he considers changing it from "and catch the heart off guard and blow it open" to "and catch the heart off guard and swing it open." And when you're coming around this exhibition in the future, do keep an eye out for the interactive screen just in front of this case, as this shows more drafts and diary entries from the archive. Our final stop in this section then is one of Seamus Heaney's writing desks. This desk has been very generously loaned to the exhibition by the Heaney family. As you can see, it might not be quite what we would expect, because it's made from two filing cabinets with a plank of wood on top, so it's very straightforward and very functional. I think that the storage cabinets were actually probably quite useful for keeping drafts of poems and any sources of inspiration close to hand. And it's very similar to the writing desk that he had when they lived in Belfast. Again, in Stepping Stones, he mentions that his desk there consisted of two tea chests with a big flush door on top. Again, in this section, there is a great audio-visual, and in that, Seamus Heaney discusses his inspirations and some of his writing process. So thank you so much for joining me today to have a look at the creativity section of this exhibition. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and do let us know what your favourite object is from this section of the exhibition. Do keep an eye out next week when Sophie will be talking about the conscience section. Thank you so much. Bye bye.